Hello, welcome to Luigi's Gaming Lounge. It's Luigi 8 Mario, and this evening we are recording episode 52. You're in for a treat this evening, guys. We've got a whole full house here. So we have Commando Para, aka...
Yo, it's your homeboy Tony. Yo, what up? Yo, what up?
We have Terrors, aka...
Bam, hello.
We have Trip Hazard, aka...
Barnaby, hello.
And we have Out of Time Ecto 1, aka...
Andy, good evening.
Good evening, guys. I just want to give you guys a little bit of news that has recently broke just before the podcast, just before we started recording, which may not interest, everybody, but it's quite a significant a piece of history, really, for gaming in general. It says monumental news, everyone. This is coming from Tim Sweeney. For those of you that don't know, he's Epic Games founder and CEO. He's put monumental news, everyone. Fortnite is now available to play for free, which it's a free game anyway, obviously. Play free streaming to web browsers on iPhone, iPad and Android via Xbox Cloud. No subscription required. Now, for me, that is awesome. The fact that it's an actual service, the cloud streaming service, but even, for example, people out there, because now a lot of people are children that play Fortnite, if we're honest, okay? A lot of the time, parents won't want to pay certain subscriptions, this, that, the other. So even if a child doesn't actually own a console, they can get onto a phone, a laptop, a tablet, and they're able to stream the game for absolutely nothing. And now, I think, to be honest, that deserves a lot of praise. What do you guys think about that?
So what you're trying to say is now there's going to be even more annoying children playing the game.
No, come on.
I'll be honest with you. I say annoying kids. I'm talking from experience because when I was younger and I was playing online, I was
one of them.
I was probably not the best to be around as far as
yeah.
Yeah.
But,
I was one of them. Those kids.
But no, for me, because I would love to see the cloud streaming from Xbox come to the point where, a bit like the service you have with Nvidia GeForce Now, where you're able to play the games you own in the cloud. So not only the Game Pass games, looking to the future, I think this just shows that we're heading in that direction where you can purchase a license for a game as you would on the Xbox store, but not only are you able to download that game, you can actually stream it to any of your devices. I think that is the future. Again, you can download it natively to your device or stream. Don't you guys think this is actually pretty good? Pretty good news, because for me, I think that's just awesome.
I think it's good news in the sense of it's also a good stepping stone forward, not just obviously for Fortnite, but for other developers in the future to maybe implement this. Do you know what I mean? It could be, obviously, they've kind of taken that step to do this. I know you can do it with some other games anyway, but obviously Fortnite being a huge player in the, in the industry at the minute and one of the top sort of played games, I think it's certainly good to hopefully spur on other top developers and top end sort of, popular games to maybe follow suit at some point in the future. So I'd say it's pretty good.
Also, just to end his tweet, because he put here, no subscription required, no 30% Apple tax, because there was that big...
Really having a dig at Apple.
Yeah, there was that big hoo-ha, in regards to, they put the price down where you can buy the V-Bucks directly through the app, and it sort of bypasses the Apple service and things. So obviously Apple weren't getting any money from that, hence why Fortnite was taken off iOS devices. So they've found a bit of a workaround here. I just saw it and I thought that is truly a monumental piece of news because it just shows a glimpse of the future. So yeah. Anyway, if nobody else has got anything else to say about that, because nobody else seems very impressed.
I mean, on a general,
how much commission are you getting out of this, Luigi? Because you're selling it again, aren't you?
I'm not selling it. It's the whole thing. Like I say, the fact that Joe Blogs, can jump onto their phone and launch this via a service that they are not putting any money into. They're not paying any subscription, nothing. It is literally, truly free to play for everybody.
How does that differ in regards to like playing Call of Duty on your mobile when there's no subscription and it's free to play?
Well, it totally differs in the sense that the Call of Duty mobile is a totally different game altogether, doesn't it? So, do you see what I'm saying?
What they're doing isn't innovative.
Well, it is in a sense because don't forget, if you want to play Call of Duty, which you can only play natively on the device, and you haven't got a powerful enough device to run that game. How do they do the workaround then? Because obviously there's going to be a certain expectation of the hardware and the performance of the hardware you're using to run Fortnite. And surely it's got to be a certain standard. Because it will be running solely through a browser. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's not
streamed. It's a streamed.
It's going to be So it's not running natively on the device. It's actually
dependent on internet speed as opposed to hardware capacity.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. So
but generally speaking, internet speeds are going up all the time.
Yeah.
Even for Sam.
Even for Sam.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, on a general level, it's good news. But on a personal level, I've kind of tired a bit of Fortnite. But in general, it's good for gamers.
Yeah.
And I think I've mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again. We're soon approaching a point where streaming games is going to become the norm.
Yeah.
Not the exception.
Definitely.
Well, it's just kind of proves the point, really. When the big A-listers are going free streaming.
Yeah.
I think it's a sign that a lot of the companies are going to follow.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't agree more. So, we'll leave that piece of information there. And talking about Call of Duty, now...
That's a nice segue you got there.
Sorry?
Nice segue there.
A segue?
You nice, smooth transition.
Yeah, exactly.
That was introduced by Andy, almost as if it had been pre-scripted.
Yeah. Yeah, no script here. Activision are blaming the low sales of Call of Duty Vanguard on the fact that it is in a World War II setting. Now, personally, I don't think they can put the blame on that. I want to get some of your guys' opinions.
It's nonsensical, isn't it?
Yes.
Because
yeah,
it's like nobody buys any World War II themed games, but obviously there are many games to disprove that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's more the case that they're looking for a scapegoat rather than any genuine reason. I mean, it's true that fashions do change over time, but I think if they made a truly exceptional game, then it would have been embraced by the community.
Yeah.
And I think more the problem is that it's not exceptional enough. It might be a solid game. I haven't actually played it, so I couldn't say for certain. It might be a solid game, but exceptional games normally have a way of finding the market.
Yeah, I mean, I've played a little bit of it online, and to be fair, it was actually quite a bit of fun. Me and Tony actually played online when it was free to play for a couple of weeks, and I had a great time on it. One thing I was thinking about, looking back at Call of Duty Vanguard, is I don't know if I just had my head buried in the sand here, but I feel like the advertising for the game hasn't been as in your face as years past, if that makes
True.
sense.
I feel like
It went
I mean,
under the radar, didn't it?
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I played it for a little while, to be fair, and I actually quite enjoyed it. But I think there was a couple of reasons I think it's not probably been as in terms of the sales, probably not been as good. I wouldn't say it's necessarily down to it being World War II as such, but going back to the previous game before that, Modern Warfare. It was Modern Warfare, wasn't it? The one before Vanguard.
Yeah.
The later, yeah. Now that was a pretty solid Call of Duty game, to be fair. They timed the market perfectly with bringing out that start, that kind of setting that time of it being in the modern sort of era. That fit in really well with the timing, because you had Battlefield milking the World War II, World War One stuff with Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5.
Yeah.
And everyone was really bored of that. So when Modern Warfare came about, it was like a bit of a breath of fresh air for both the FPS sort of scene, because obviously, although they're completely kind of different games, there's always kind of this rivalry, isn't there, between Battlefield and Call of Duty sort of thing. And I feel that they got that right. Now they transitioned over to or change it to Vanguard being like set in World War II. I feel that it's probably not the reason it didn't sell as well because of that. I'd say it's more because the more popular games that people are playing right now are not those kind of games when it comes to FPSs. Like Battle Royale stuff is obviously extremely popular and has been for quite a while. The Warzone was extremely well received. A lot of people just are, it's rinse and repeat. They've been doing it for years now. Like this, and they don't. What do they change? They change the maps. They change effectively the skins. They don't really bring any other innovation into the game at all. And everyone's kind of bored of it. They're just bored of it. Like, it's not the fact that it could have been Modern Warfare 2. It may have had slightly better sales being Modern Warfare 2, but I wouldn't say a lot, like in my honest opinion. Do you know what I mean? I think it's just people are getting bored of it.
I think you raised an interesting point there. I mean, what do you think they could have done to make it more appealing to a contemporary audience?
Well, can I just weigh in a moment and say that, as Sam, like you said, Sam makes a very good point. The thing is, there doesn't seem to have been many changes in terms of, gameplay mechanics and things like that. I mean, that's what people also look for. It's not just, like some say, keep rehashing the same stuff and, they're just, I don't know, it lacks a bit of innovation.
I don't think Call of Duty has changed since the original Modern Warfare.
No,
two generations ago.
No,
it is essentially the same game with more bells and whistles on.
Yeah, and I think what they need to do is, in order to sort of gauge more interest or gain new interest back into the franchise, is they really need to start looking at ways to evolve the game as opposed to just, like you said, rehash it. And when I say like evolve the game, they need to start coming up with completely new ideas. I'm not saying that's an easy task, because there are a lot of, we've got to a point now over the last 20 years where a lot of things have been done in gaming. Do you know what I mean? With a lot of different games. So it's getting difficult and, more difficult for developers to come up with these fresh new ideas, which I get. But you can't just expect to rehash a game and then expect the sales to be like they were from previous iterations, just because your game is called Call of Duty. Like, you know what I mean? It's dying off, and you need to start thinking out the box again. Like, you can't just keep doing this. I don't know what you could do, but I mean, you could have like a bit like, like Warzone. Obviously that game mode is basically Battle Royale. I mean, maybe come up with something like squad-based survival modes and stuff like that can, like, do you know what I mean? So like a squad-based survival mode online where you have multiple teams of 4 that have to, come up with different objectives.
With your own loadout.
Yeah, with your own loadout, multiple teams of 4.
Definitely. Yeah, I second that.
Multiple teams of 4, keep it like it is standardly with the loadouts and all the rest of it, but have like a game mode where you've got multiple teams of 4. There's multiple different missions to do within a game mode. Not just one objective to capture or different missions that you're all progressing through and you're all fighting towards this end goal. I'm just thinking of something off the top of my head. Do you know what I mean? But that was
the standard deathmatch or last man standing is kind of like has already been done. So making the mission objectives a bit different, almost like in a true military campaign.
Yes, it's almost like a mini.
Make it much more engaging, I think.
Yeah, like teams of 4 online against other teams of 4, and make almost like a campaign. Obviously shortened, like well, not necessarily shortened, but different maps will have different missions. Do you know what I mean? So it's almost like a campaign, but not, if you know what I mean. And that's a breath of fresh air to me. Like that'd be brilliant. Oh, okay, cool. I've done this before.
I like the idea of that. Again, Luigi and I, we play a bit of Vanguard, and again, I think you hit the nail on the head, Sam. It can be sort of rinse and repeat, and I don't believe it's due to people are bored of World War One, World War Two. It's not that, but it needs a different sort of twist to the game. And I think if there was some form of modern day hacking, or where you could get a perk, or even base building, or much like Rainbow Six, where you used to hold up and look after the package, and you could build the sort of caged walls with like the peep, something like that, where you could sort of really collect some form of tokens or build up, and as a perk you can go, right, we can build this wall, reinforce this wall, or we could have a juggernaut drop. And again, I don't want it to sound samey, but trying to really think outside the box and try and sort of create a different strategy.
Basically, just have different, add some new game modes that have never been done before, and on top of that, bring in some new ways to progress through the game. We get this whole ranking up system. You go from one prestige to another. You unlock new weapons as you go along. Yeah, that's fine, but we've been doing that for years. Come up with something like, I don't know. I know you get challenges and stuff like that, but just different types of stuff that really does make the player want to.
You could have the Welsh miners.
To move forward through the game, make it so that the players have to really engage in the game to do that. Not too much the way it puts you off, but just enough to don't make it as, we just kill people, we get points, we get XP, we get level up, we then go to the next prestige. You got to change it. You got to mix it up a bit. Have it.
You could have the likes of the Welsh miners just digging under and then coming out the back and then taking out the enemy, something like that. but that just touches on a bit of history, though. On the actual events of what actually happened. They used the Welsh miners because they were the best, and I believe, don't quote me on this, they used to dig 17 meters a day. They were the first, the fastest diggers. That's why they were sort of employed during the war to dig underneath.
The Welsh diggers will bring the masses in. Tony.
It was the first thing to my mind, but some form of proof behind the war, of actual events.
But you're on about bringing in some real sort of meaningful events within the game. Exactly. I know what you mean, Matt.
Dead bad. You got my sheep bad. Exploding sheep, kamikaze.
But yeah, just things that new ways to progress. Basically, I would say get fresh new game modes, new ways to progress through the game, and I know it's very hard because they've already done so many of these things, but unless you're going to really think out the box and change things and mix things up, what do you expect? You can't just expect people to want to go and spend 40 quid every time you bring out a new rehashed version of what you've already done.
There's so many, I think it's important, like you say, to have a good selection of different game modes, especially with a title such as Call of Duty that has many players. One of my favourites being, and I wish they added this to all Call of Duties and all FPS games because it's my favourite mode, gun game. I absolutely
Yeah,
love.
that'd be good.
I love gun game where
that would be. Yeah,
you
that
know,
would be great.
you start off with a pistol and you progress up, to 20, I don't know, 20 different weapons.
Yeah.
But another mode I would absolutely love to see is not like a one life mode, but something that, for example, so you get rewarded for your kills, but if you get killed, you really do get what's the word I'm looking for? You really do get punished for being killed. And I don't know what they could come up with, but I don't know, something like maybe if you get killed, you get like a massive reduction in points.
So basically, what you could say is you could have a mode where it's like you effectively you can de-rank and de-level by getting killed.
Yes.
But you can also the benefits from being able to do well in that mode can really push you forward through the game in certain ways.
And it will make you know how like we always say about Call of Duty, run and gun.
It's a bit like a survival mode almost.
Yeah, so in a sense, people who play that mode will be thinking twice, check your corners, basically it makes you think twice about doing your action before you do it.
Rather than just run around like an absolute loon.
Yes, yeah.
Right. But I was thinking about...
As you get killed, are not eliminated, you go down in perks of weapons and what's available to you.
Yeah, things that you've unlocked can effectively be locked again. Like, that would be pretty good.
Yeah, and as you climb, you sort of you're able to command a team, from a corporal to a sergeant to say a captain to a field marshal. If you got to the highest rank, you can then sort of be more have more of a command of the actual game and the situation. Say, right, I want heavy armored vehicles going over there to troops going over there. But then if you get killed and assassinated, whatever you want to talk. Then you could
almost have it. Yeah, you could almost have it as like its own separate ranking system just for that game mode. So then it would really like push people to see who can really get to the top and who's going to get. Do you know what I mean? Like really make it challenging. Like you are going to literally de-rank if you're doing bad, and you're going to rank up if you're doing well. And it's just for that game mode. You have your own special rank for it. Like that would be awesome. Yeah. So that's another one you could do. Yeah. And then I was thinking about. Almost having we was touching on like a campaigny kind of thing, online campaign kind of style thing. Well, what about like how they go through different seasons, stuff like that? Well, why not have it so that the game is constantly evolving, like you're in almost like not real time, but as in like, let's just say the war begins. Yeah, let's just say World War 19, whatever it is. That's the year that when the game comes out, we all sit down. That's when we're playing. Season 1, effectively, is 19, whenever the First World War started. You play through it, and as you're progressing through it, and you're doing different things online and with other bits, it almost like when Season 2 comes out, it moves on to the next sort of part of the war, so that
I like that.
And it changes things. The maps change, and they bring out new maps, and it's almost like the game's evolving each quarter. So what they do is they build one game, but rather than release the whole game in one go, they kind of do release the game in one go. But as they're going along, let's just say, I know it's going to be hard because you'd have to make quite a few maps. But imagine like, I don't know, you start the game and there's 8 maps. And you're like, okay, cool, there's 8 maps. And you're playing through it, blah, blah, blah. And then after that first season's done with, you merge into the next part of the game. But it's a different part of the war. The weapons change, well, not the weapons change, but like the places that you're fighting change, or, just do you know what I mean? Stuff like that really would then like keep it refreshed, but all the time. Do you know what I mean? So it's almost like it's, I mean, I
like that idea. Like maybe starting the fight in, I don't know, where did it start in France in World War 1? Was it France? Anybody?
I'm not. I'll be honest with you. My history's useless, but you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. You start
off. It doesn't have to be World War 1. It could be of any war, the Gulf War. It could be whatever you want, whatever you want to choose it to be.
Going through the ages, I definitely think going on that, if we're sort of focusing on a World War theme such as World War II, you don't hear much about what happened, with the German troops in Norway, in Oslo. and Berg.
Just there's different. Yeah, exactly. There's just so many different things that they could be touching on. I mean, just between us now, how many different things have we just come up with? And we're not developers. We've just come up with that on a podcast right off the top of our heads. Like, how are they not knowing to put these fresh ideas in to make a better game? I do not know. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like there's like some great examples. I honestly genuinely think that we've all just come up with some really good examples as to how the game can evolve and move forward. And obviously, what they're doing now, if they're complaining about the sales, it's not working. So you really need to take a bigger risk and change what you're doing, because, to be honest, you've done it to death, and everyone's basically just bored of it. So what have you got to lose? Do you know what I mean? Really, like, you're already losing by the sounds of things. So you need to to refresh it.
Yeah. Luigi. Well, guys, you'll know. Luigi and I spent some time this years ago. What was it? Call of Duty, not Modern Warfare, where it was in the desert. There was more sort of mobile vehicles. I can't remember what it was now. What game that was? Obviously, not being a complete Call of Duty fanboy, but again,
what did we play online together?
Modern Warfare 2 was in the desert a bit. There was some desert stuff on there, wasn't there?
Yeah, it might have been Modern Warfare 2 then, because when we would go,
I might be wrong, to be honest.
Yeah, it was. Again, it was. That being said and done, desert, but that went through the stages. What I'm trying to touch on is, the war. What happened in Norway? What happened? In bloody Africa during the war, Burma.
Battlefield campaign, Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5. You experienced different parts of the war, and it was fantastic the way.
I tell you what would be awesome as well. Like how we were saying about going through the different seasons, and you're like, obviously it changes like parts of, it's going through the years effectively, and it's going into different parts. Imagine if you're like halfway through season 1 and there's an update for the game. You're like, update, and you boot it up, and all of a sudden it says, it's telling you what you've already been doing, what's going on right now in the game. Like, you're like, oh, we're currently doing this, and then all of a sudden it comes up with a thing that says meanwhile in, and then it goes to like Germany or something. It says meanwhile in Germany, and then it comes out with this whole new thing, and it's just no one even knows it's coming. It just comes out of nowhere. Like, you're playing it for 6 weeks, and all of a sudden there's an update, and it just then gives you a quick refresher on what everyone's been doing. Like, we've all been fighting this war from, whatever. And then all of a sudden it just comes, it's cinematic. It's got a cinematic introduction, and then it's like meanwhile in Germany, and then all of a sudden the game changes, and you're like, fucking hell, we're in, like, you got to then. Yeah. Like, new maps, everything, just straight off the bat. You keep all your weapons, you keep your level, but you're just in this new part of the game. You're like, holy shit, we're in Germany, and then go straight online, and everyone's just in on Germany or wherever it is. Just how sick would that be?
You could be all running, or you could be there. But also with that being said and done, snippets of, if you sort of trailer, this time in last time in season 1, you went here and it's got like a sort of
just like
your gameplay.
Exactly.
You did this just to recap. I was like, oh yeah, and then
exactly.
And then it goes boom, and then it goes from the sky, from like an eagle eye, so from a bird in the sky all the way down, and it's like from there it goes.
Exactly,
and then you're like, whoa, and then you're running. You're like, what am I doing? We're storming the beach of Normandy on Sword Beach, or
it's almost like you're bringing in a campaign, but online, and then like on the fly, not on the fly as such, because it's already been pre-developed. But you know what I mean? Like, how sick would that be? Like, everyone's just like, fucking hell, it's all been switched up and changed up. How refreshing would it be? And then after, like, maybe they could do that for, say, 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and then it can revert back, or they can move forward again. Like, they can just literally, do you know what I mean? They can like use this timeline over a 12-month period or a 2-year period, depending on how long do they release one every year? Do they? Is that what they tend to do?
The one releasing this year is going to see us through for the next 2 years.
Yeah, so let's say that would be more perfect. So if they're going to start doing one every 2 years, think about the content and how they could really, really put that together over a 2-year period. Like, you could create some, like, you keep people refreshed constantly. Do you know what I mean? Because everyone would be wondering, like,
for the
secret, like, when's the next update coming out? When's the next part of the story going to unfold? When we're going to go into these? Do you know what I mean? How that would keep, in my opinion, that would be the way they need to go. That would be so good.
Yeah, I definitely think with that. Just final bit on myself. Like I was talking about, that you want that adrenaline rush, and Forza is a really good. I know it's a different game, but where you're getting pumped and you're getting these little sections introduced into the game. And if you had a recap after season 1 where you see your own playing, you're playing a little bit of that, a little bit of this, or just watching that, and you go, right, I'm pumped, and then you storm the beach. But imagine if you had the surround sound system or sound bar and it's all kicking off, and you've just watched your recap of a minute long of what happened in season 1. You're now a medic or something along the lines of that, and you've got to do X amount, but you've just got that adrenaline built up already and gone, bloody hell, I've not even actually physically controlled my character in this game. I've just recapped on what's happened. And you're like, right, I'm in the thick of it now, and
that's what I mean. Just keeping you refreshed and really on your toes. Like, do you know what I mean? And that's what we're saying about this whole rinse and repeat thing with Call of Duty. It's like everyone kind of knows what they're already getting themselves into before they've even bloody started playing. It's like, well, we know it's Call of Duty. We know it's going to be team deathmatch, free for all the rest of it, and still have those game modes because they're important to have because they're the core bases of Call of Duty. But I think that the online side of it, even if you are playing free-for-all or team deathmatch, if they just implement this into the whole online, across all the game modes, because it can still work, you can make it work. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what game mode you play. It's just that it just changes, and you don't know when it's going to change.
Do you know?
The games, it would just be a breath of fresh air, in my opinion.
Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5... I feel did that on a much smaller scale in the sense of I can't remember the name. I don't know if it was Conquest or something else, but anyway, for example, you'd start off in one place, and if the enemy team captured all 3 or 4 of the points and kept pushing you back and back and back, you would then all go over onto another map where, for example, you would have been pushed back in that time in real life. Does that make sense?
Like yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, what I was trying to get is Battlefield 1. You're in it for a short moment, then you get killed, and then you go to a different part of the map of where the war's happening.
Yes, yeah, but obviously this is talking about it on a larger sort of grander scale than that. But yeah, I mean, that was awesome in itself in Battlefield 1. So yeah, doing that on a bigger scale would be really cool to see. Andy, we haven't heard anything from you, and Barnaby actually.
I'm enjoying listening. I'll be honest. I'm very lethargic this evening, so
okay.
It's just nice to be back in the lounge and in the company of good friends.
Oh, good. Barnaby,
I got what I wanted. I just asked the question and let the ball roll.
You did. Look at that. Awesome.
What did you think to our input on how they can change Call of Duty?
A lot better than most of Activision's output.
Shame that we don't know how to do any
exactly. Of it. Yeah. So when Activision goes under new management, hopefully they'll hire us all as consultants.
I feel like they're just going to listen to the podcast. Someone will listen to the podcast and then go back in the office like, I've had the best idea ever. And we'll soon know if this starts getting implemented on the next Call of Duty. We'll be like, they definitely listened in.
They need to headhunt the team over from FIFA, don't they? They're always innovative.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'm just thinking then, in terms of this game, even if you had to wait 4 or 5 years for the next, Battlefield or Call of Duty, let's go Call of Duty on this because this is what we're talking about, to come out, instead of it all being samey, what I would love to see, and again, from all different nationalities, if you're, French army or French forces, Italian, what was going on, I would love to see actual events from diary entries from someone in Italy, where the Germans sort of roamed in, to being that child kicking a ball, and then your family passed away, and you go, right, I'm going to take a vengeance, and he's only 12, and then when he's 16, or if he's 16 when he becomes 20, he's still during the wartime, goes there. But also, I'd love to see a catalogue of each and individual characters, from India or Africa, the UK, so a commando, a para, US Marine Corps, and go, you can actually learn different skill sets of what they use, like a British commando, the dagger. What sort of training, and you go through the training, sort of small sections of a training program of that what was in place to become a commando, to then get you prepared for war. During what Churchill said, "I want a robust force."
So like unlocking different like choosing different. I suppose there's not really like classes, is there, as such?
No, but it's a regiment, unit, and then you go, right, I want to be, a ranger, I want to be a Navy SEAL, I want to be a commando, right? And you hear the whole story of how this all come about, from Churchill to say, I want an elite force, with the paras, right? You get a parachute, and you go to Pegasus Bridge. If you could select aspects of history and play in those areas of what happened, which are famous landmarks now of wars that are taken away, like the Pegasus Bridge, that would, for me,
but would that be more campaign orientated as opposed to online?
that would be campaign orientated. However, you can still, like Call of Duty, you can pick your own outfit in terms of that soldier. If you're from America and you want to solely focus on America or Canadian soldiers, you can pick their outfit and that soldier at the time.
See, for me, that's what made Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5 so good, is the campaign. It sort of zooms you in and out of like their home life, and then all of a sudden them being in the war, and it sort of really there was that sort of emotional connection for me anyway, seeing the soldier in their home life, and then all of a sudden they're in the middle of a massive war, and it sort of hit home a bit, thinking this person was leading a normal life, and now all of a sudden they're fighting for whatever. And
it's just to expand on that, with the training, when Churchill said, I want a force that a robot, hence why commandos were formed. The commandos, British commandos were formed. So just to sort of understand that, what was Printer Hoover at the time, when Bloody Churchill was speaking, to the USA to say, look, we need your support. Actually have real life footage. I know it's incorporated. It feels like, it's a film then, but you want that to remind people this is, and it touches on one of our very earlier podcasts that we had of teaching, children or the younger generation, or generation as a whole, from different nationalities, to understand this is what happened. Even though we're playing a game, but this is based on actual events, and this is what was said at the time from all parties, no matter if you're a Nazi or from the UK, Canadian, French, American. But then go, right, I want to learn about why was this unit formed, what sort of training did it go. You focus on that individual going through training to go, right, we're going to war, and what it was like for them, and it becomes a movie. But then you have the option to press B or circle to skip, and then straight into the game. Or if you want to watch it unfold and understand why they were drafted over to the war, what happened, and go from there, and why we beat, the Wolflafer.
Yeah, I wouldn't even make it a cutscene. You could still make it interactive. The first Modern Warfare game actually did a great job of eliminating a lot of cutscenes and actually replacing it with playable first-person sections instead.
Mm-hmm.
And that I think was like a leap forward that hasn't always been replicated since, but really should be.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, very good and interesting points there, and I think, to be honest with you, we've sort of squashed that. From what Activision are trying to blame their low sales on. There's plenty that can be done. I know World War I, World War II settings in games have been done to death, but at the same time...
so is the modern setting, really, and a lot of settings have been.
And
unless you're going to be truly innovative and choose a more out there setting, you are pretty much going to be going to one of the world wars or a contemporary campaign.
Exactly. Maybe, do you know what interests me a little bit, actually, is the Civil War in America. Maybe they could come up with something to do with that.
Yeah.
You know, dabble in that. You don't know. But anyway, that's another conversation. We'll keep this moving. So we're talking about obviously World War settings, etc. So we're going to move on to the next topic, which is Sniper Elite 5. And so it says Sniper Elite 5 France because that's where it's set. That comes out on the 26th of this month, 26th of May, and it releases on PS4, PS5, Steam, Epic Games, Microsoft Store, Xbox One, Xbox X and S, and it is releasing day one for you Xbox Game Pass subscribers. Who just laughed like a little girl?
All the cool kids, basically.
All the cool kids. So I'll just read some information out from the Sniper Elite Games website. So it says here, the latest instalment in the award-winning series, Sniper Elite 5, offers unparalleled sniping, tactical third-person combat, and an enhanced kill cam. Fight your way across the most immersive maps yet, with many real-world locations captured in stunning detail, and an I'm mixing my words, and an improved traversal system that lets you explore more of them than ever before. It says here, France 1944, as part of a covert US Rangers operation to weaken the Atlantic Wall fortifications, I think I said that right, along the coast of Brittany, elite marksman Carl Fairburn makes contact with the French resistance. Soon they uncover a secret Nazi project that threatens to end the war before the Allies can even invade Europe. Operation Kraken. So, I'm quite excited for this game. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, I've played all of them actually, and guess what I'm going to tell you? I've played all of them. Have I completed any? Have I completed any of them?
No, you played them all for 10 minutes.
No, actually, I've played them for longer than 10 minutes. However,
12 minutes.
I mean, the game itself really does interest me, and I don't know. I don't know. I'm just a game whore, you know. When something new comes out, it's like, I've got to try it.
You don't need to tell us that.
And you know, so it's not to say. The thing is, though I haven't finished the games, you know, like for example, Sniper Elite 2, I think I was quite near the end of the game, but I just, you know, something else obviously after a little while took my fancy, and I never ended up finishing it. But not to say I didn't enjoy it. I really, really did enjoy it. Just give you a little bit more information as well with Sniper Elite 5. So it says key features here. So expansive campaign. Many real-world locations have been captured using photogrammetry. Is that how you say it? Grammetry, yeah. Photogrammetry to recreate a living, immersive environment, and multiple infiltration and extraction points and kill list targets provide a whole new perspective on each mission. Take on the Nazi plot solo or work with a partner with improved co-op mechanics, allowing you to share ammo and items, give orders, and heal each other. So you can actually play this in co-op, which brilliant. You know, I think nearly every game these days should have some form of co-op mode. I know there's some that don't need it. That
certainly piqued my interest.
It's piqued your interest, has it?
It has, yeah.
I mean, the thing is, you know, if you play a game like this and you enjoy it, and it's like anything, any sort of form of entertainment, even if it's movies, TV shows, music, you can enjoy it on your own, but sharing that with somebody who has the same level of excitement as you, just sort of heightens that enjoyment tenfold. Don't you think?
Although I think that nobody has the same level of excitement as you, Luigi.
No, well, that's true.
I was just thinking exactly that.
That's true. Oh wow. One of the features that I find quite interesting, because a few other games I've seen this sort of mechanics put in, this gameplay put in. So this is called Invasion Mode Drop-In PvP. So it says Campaign Drop-In PvP and Co-op. So it says invade another player's campaign as an Axis sniper and engage in a deadly game of cat and mouse, providing a new
quite cool.
providing a new dimension to the challenge as you stalk your prey. Alternatively, as Carl, you can call for assistance and have a second sniper drop in to help you out of a tricky situation. So that means when I see on there Andy and Barnaby are playing this co-op, I'm going to drop in and snipe the crap out of them. No, that's quite.
that is cool. That is cool. But you know what game they stole that from?
Go on.
Dark Souls.
Really? Because I'll tell you why. Because the other game, I think, when did it come out? I think it was last year, or beginning of this year. Deathloop.
Don't get me wrong, I approve of it because it's a mechanic that should be used more often in more games, and at the moment I don't think it is.
Yeah,
it is fairly unique to the Dark Souls series, but yeah, that is distinctly how Dark Souls does multiplayer.
Ah, okay. So yeah, it's like I say, it is an interesting. It makes it different, doesn't it?
It does. Although thinking about it, that's not even Dark Souls innovation. That also goes back to Perfect Dark, where you could either play cooperatively or you could play a mode called counter-operative. One player takes control of Joanna Dark, and the other would take control of the NPCs. And then every time an NPC enemy died, they would take over a new enemy.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a very innovative mode that never got copied, as far as I'm aware.
I'm just looking forward to fucking Luigi's game up.
Do you know what? Was
let's just all invade Luigi's game every 5 minutes.
Do you know what was really innovative that I don't think it's also been taken before? Which is I don't know if you guys played Battlefield 2 Modern Combat. Don't know if you remember that.
I don't think I played that one.
That was on the original Xbox and the Xbox 360.
Blast from the past.
On the campaign on that, all the MCPs that were in the game, you could hot switch between anyone you wanted while you're in the campaign. So like you would highlight one of them, press whatever button, and it would literally go from you would turn into that player. You would literally zoom across the map, turn into that player, and you could start playing as that player. And you could constantly do it. Like I thought that was
you're an agent from the Matrix.
It was really cool.
Although that wasn't the first game to do that. Omicron did that before, I think.
Well, I haven't seen it really been done since.
Yeah, it's not many games, I think,
No, again, it's an underused mechanic. I have heard of it before, but I think there was a game on PC.
Omicron, was that an FPS, is it?
No, it's actually a third-person sci-fi action adventure. It was released on PC and Dreamcast.
I have to say, Barney, you're on full-on Wikipedia mode tonight, I have to say.
I just got a lot of games. And famously, the soundtrack and some of the voiceover was provided by David Bowie. So, it caused a minor stir at the time, and it's got a small cult following, I think.
Okay. Well, I assume, because it's campaign drop-in, you're not going to get any sort of warning that somebody, because obviously you're up against I've lost my words now. You're up against computer characters. I've forgotten the flaming word for it. But anyway, you're up against them, so I assume the invading character will basically just drop in as an enemy, and you're not going to get that warning that because obviously...
I don't know, Dark Souls warns you.
Oh, it does?
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're being invaded or something along those lines.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I think it would make it better if it didn't give you the warning.
It would, yeah. It would be more tense, wouldn't it? Because you don't know if you're facing an ordinary AI opponent. But then again, AI opponents can be sneaky bastards.
Yes.
I don't know. I like the idea of Luigi getting a warning saying like "out of time, Ecto 1's joining your session." So his bum can start twitching, and then like, I know Andy's around.
Yeah, that is
you like to play. We know you like to play devious as well, Andy.
Yeah, it's Tony you got to worry about tunneling in and attacking from behind.
Exactly. Welsh mining.
It's the Welsh miners, mate.
Oh, brilliant! That's fantastic. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to trying this out, and if you can do the campaign co-op, then I'm more than interested in playing it with one of you guys that have got the Game Pass.
That does sound pretty cool. I mean, just looking at the trailer footage, it doesn't stand out as being like the greatest game ever. It looks all right, but yeah, the features for co-op, invasion and assistance seem pretty cool. Let's put it on my radar a little bit.
The way I see it is, it's on Game Pass. It doesn't cost anything, so I think give it a try. If it's not for you, then you don't bother, do you? And you haven't lost anything. So
exactly.
Other than a bit of your time, but
the podcast is basically a walking advert for Game Pass.
Yeah, we have to mention it every time.
And Nvidia Shield, we have to mention that all the time as
well. But yeah, I mean, have any of you guys played any of the previous Sniper Elites at all?
No, I haven't actually.
I might have done.
Wow.
Look now. I've never played any, but Barney knows a chap I'm on about, a guy called Kev we both used to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to be a big COD fan, huge Call of Duty fan, but he also used to love the Sniper Elite games.
Mm-hmm.
And although I sort of didn't speak directly to him about the Sniper Elite games, he is a hardcore, passionate gamer in that remit. So I sort of value his choice of choosing that over a lot of other games. It has always been a game that's been on my radar, but as we often say, lots of games, not enough time, etc. Up until the point of you said these new dynamics, or new to that game, obviously not new to the gaming in general, that did pique my interest. And I was saying it in jest, but also truth is often said in jest. I think it'd be really fun to just fuck around with you sometimes. And if you see a mate online, it'll be really fun.
It just adds, it is, even on the side of the person being invaded, you sort of, it brings that extra
that's going to be a lot more fun, I
excitement.
think. I'm just going to watch Xbox like a hawk whenever you go on. Log in and drop a grenade on your head.
We can spare 5 minutes, can't we? We can spare 5 minutes to log in, fuck shit up, and leave.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah,
and you'll probably you won't even have to sit on your Xbox, even on your phone when you're out and about. You'd be like, check if Luigi's on. Oh yeah, crap, he's on! Quick, jump on the cloud.
Yeah, mess up his game.
So there's going to be other multiplayer games as well. So it says here, tense adversarial. God, my wording's terrible tonight. Yeah, adversarial multiplayer. Customize your character and loadout and earn XP, medals and ribbons as you take on intensely competitive 16-player battles that will really test your sharp shooting skills. Now listen to this, boys, because I know obviously Sam's not got the Game Pass, but obviously me, Tony, Andy and Barnaby, this could be something for us. It says, if co-op's more your style, you can team up with up to 3 other players against waves of enemies in survival mode.
That's quite cool. I do like that.
So so that's quite cool. The other thing, if you guys haven't played Sniper Elite, are you not aware of the kill cam within campaign for this?
I can envisage what it is.
It's a bit cheesy, I find.
Oh no! I mean, my favourite one.
It's a bit
Luigi
Michael Bay.
likes cheese.
I love a bit of cheese.
I'm not a fan of kill cams. It's like just crack on. I got the kill. Let's move on.
Well, no, because
it's a bit like murder porn, isn't it?
Hey, what the hell's wrong with murder porn?
Well, it says here. So it says enhanced. Enhanced kill cam, more realistic and grisly than ever. The trade
porn.
It should say more cheesy than ever.
No, honestly,
it's cheesy murder porn.
The benefit is Luigi gets to watch
use that as
slow
a tagline. Sniper Elite 5, cheesy murder porn.
It says here that because Sniper Elite's known for their X-ray kill cam, so it says the trademark X-ray kill cam returns, showing you the true destructive power of each shot. Bones deflect bullets unpredictably, ripping a new path through enemy bodies. SMGs and pistols can also trigger kill cams, including multiple shots in dramatic slow motion. Now, let me tell you something. I know you say, oh, you're not a fan of it, but if you are taking a very long shot and you nail that shot, then you actually get to see exactly the damage you've done to your enemy with that single bullet. There is just something about that it's just
Luigi is scary.
Brilliant. Oh no, it's just so good.
I feel like after you read that entire little article or write-up on the game, the first thing you did was just like, where's the basket? I'm adding it in there immediately.
I don't have to. I've got Game Pass.
Yes. I bet he was like, thank God for Game Pass.
Exactly. So yeah, anyway, I mean, I am excited for it. And you guys not really...
No shit.
Yeah.
Really?
you need to get the message across more clearly, because we were mixed signals, I think.
Of course. But yeah, like I say, you guys not having really played Sniper Elite, I think you'll be in for a treat. Yes, it's not, it's probably not going to be, any winning tons of awards and Game of the Year. However, the Sniper Elite sort of series are good. They're very good. I've played all of them, and all of them are good. They're not bad. They're not the best game in the world, but they're good. They're worth playing. So
you're bugging me though, because you created a new thing on my to-do list. Because now I want to get the game, drop in your session, fuck shit up, and then record the kill cam of me putting a bullet through your head, and then make a GIF out of it to just spam the shit out of you on our WhatsApp group.
Yeah,
every day.
You lot will be playing a game. Who can kill Luigi today?
Yeah,
that is a great game.
Oh, I don't know,
Who
guys.
can get another Luigi notch?
Yeah, exactly.
Sniper Elite 5, mess Luigi up.
There'll be a simulator for that soon.
Yeah, great. So, guys, we'll leave that there, and we better do what we do every week and do our segment of Trash or Stash. I'm going to go first, if you don't mind, guys. If you don't mind. Now, I was thinking, obviously we were talking about Call of Duty in this podcast. Now, Modern Warfare came out in 2007. So I used that, that was the first Call of Duty that I played online. It changed the way I game for me. So, sorry? Did somebody say something? No?
I think it might have been Tony.
Oh, okay.
Someone's spoken about.
It's only Tony.
So yeah,
Apologies. My partner whipped me with her bra, so I do apologize.
really? So yeah,
That's material for an entirely different podcast.
yeah, I was going to say.
Luigi's Gaming Lounge After Dark.
Oh yes.
Luigi's Gaming Lounge in the dark.
Oh, you guys. So yeah, 2007.
A quick fiddle in the dark.
Oh god.
Dear. We're really ruining Luigi's stash.
You are.
It's only going to be something shocking you find in a pound bin anyway. So.
No, I think he's
No,
on
not
to an
today.
absolute winner. This one's an absolute winner. I think I'm actually jealous because
I'm not actually giving it to Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. I'm just using that. No, I'm just using the 2007 as a bracket of my trash and stash this week.
Carry on then, Bob.
Yeah, so my stash this week is, in my opinion, a game of the franchise that is underrated, and that is Need for Speed Pro Street. I don't know if you guys ever played Pro Street.
What's that got to do with Call of Duty?
No. I was using the 2007. You guys don't listen to me, man.
Strange.
In 2007, Call of Duty came out. So not for my stash. I'm going to go Need for Speed. What the hell are you on about?
Brilliant.
I was using
Best intro ever.
I was using the timeline, that, like I say,
Why not just say the year 2007 had some great games, but the best one I thought was Need for Speed?
No, it's not. It's not that I think that was the best one. However, that is
2007. I mistook that for the other 2007 I experienced.
I'm saying Need for Speed Pro Street is an underrated game. Okay, it was a game that took itself more serious to its previous installments, and you raced basically more so on like the professional sort of circuit, and you also did drag races on this one, and just the mechanics of doing the drag racing. It's something that's...
To be honest, mate, it's actually that you said that. Sorry to interrupt you on your stash, but weirdly, one of my stashes is from that same franchise this week.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, you carry on, bud.
Yeah, no.
We're not all picking Need for Speed games, are we?
I'm not.
No. But yeah, no, I haven't got much else to say, to be honest with you, other than, like I said, it's one of the Need for Speeds that took itself more serious. You was like a professional driver rather than razzing around on the streets in your little boy racer vehicle. And yeah, for me, it's an underrated gem. So that's going in my stash for this week. So, Commando Para, Tony, do you want to give us your stash for the week?
So my stash is Bugs Bunny and Taz Time Busters.
Wow.
Oh, I don't think I've played that one.
I haven't played it, but I should imagine it would be pretty good.
Yeah, really good game, guys. So the idea behind the game was it was a co-op game back in the day with your memory card. Giving it a good blow.
On PS1.
PS1.
PlayStation 1, that's it, yeah.
And
my
PC.
sister and I, I think it was on PC. We played it on PlayStation 1, and the idea of the game was you had to collect these cogs. So one of you would pick Taz, and one of you would pick Bugs, and you had your own special moves, and this would revolve around tasks of beating the guards at sort of basketball or ball through the hoop. Other things such as moving items, climbing, getting through other objects, and beating the guards and getting these cogs. And it was from memory again. It was to fix the clock, the time, hence the name. And it was just a really good game. I remember playing hours on it. It was one way because we shared a PlayStation where my sister and I could both play the game, have some time on the PlayStation, but maximise our time together. It's a really good game. I don't know if you can see it online if you're able to have a look, but have a look.
I'm looking at it.
I know that some of them. It's good how those games back in the 90s, certainly when first kind of 3D platforming games came out, that how many of them were based on collecting items to rebuild some random thing, or just something like some evil persons come to attack the planet, and you've got to find these weird collectibles which unlock this thing to then... Do you know what I mean? There was loads that kind of did it, but they were all really, really good, especially when you were a kid.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, really good game, guys. I've got fond memories of that. So, yeah, really good game. And then my trash.
Oh no,
is
separately.
Oh, sorry.
Remember the formula.
Stashes first.
Yeah, thank you for your stash, Tony. Outtime Ecto 1, you've been quite quiet. Let's come to you. Can we have your stash for the week, please?
I suppose you can. So, in trademark Luigi fashion, the year's 2017, I believe I had a bagel, probably cream cheese on it, and the Legend of Zelda. Indeed, the Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild was released. But that's not my choice, and it's in no way connected to what my choice is. I just thought I'd throw it out there for the commission.
I wish I'd gone before you, Andy, because I was going to do exactly the same thing as what you've just done. But I feel I might still do it, just because it's the theme.
Rub salt in the wound. No, but my choice is a bit of a random one, but it's South Park. The Fractured Butthole.
Oh yeah,
I've not played that one. I've played the other one, but not that one.
You played the Stick of Truth.
Yeah.
Saying that, Andy, I've played the Stick of Truth, not the Fractured Butthole. Yeah. But the Stick of Truth was brilliant.
Yeah.
It takes what the Stick of Truth has, and it's even better in my opinion.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a raving fanboy of South Park by any means. It is quite entertaining to watch. I can't claim to have watched all the episodes. But for a sort of TV film crossover, it's a fantastic game. It's obviously incorporating RPG elements, puzzle aspects. It's just a really cool, nice, easygoing game, but with a lot of different mechanics to it. And I remember when I first popped it on the PS4, within about 5 minutes, I was presented with, I think it was Cartman's diary. And it was literally saying, like, there was a picture of like a guy getting noshed off, like a pencil drawing of a guy getting his dick sucked.
His duck sucked.
Yeah, his duck sucked. Written on it, no coons allowed, and so fuck your mum. And I was like, wow, this is like within 5 minutes. So there's no filter on this game.
I'm hooked.
It's not everyone's cup of tea, but I kind of like that rawness. But no, did I complete it? No. Do I regret not completing it? Yes. Is it a game I'm certainly going to return to at some point? Yes. But I do recall the time, and I did put a fair amount of time into it. I did really enjoy it. And like I say, I think a lot of people have probably turned their nose up to it, think it's unknowingly like a kiddie game, not a lot of depth to it. But like I say, there's a lot of different mechanics to it. There's RPG elements. There's a really decent story. It's a great crossover from the TV show to the actual game itself. So yeah, my stash is South Park: The Fractured Butthole. Plus the title's amazing. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it is amazing. I mean,
that's a good choice.
Yeah, if the other one, Stick of Truth, is anything to go by, then yeah, that's a brilliant shout for a stash. So yeah, thank you for your stash. We'll come to Trip Hazard. Can we have your stash, please, Barnaby?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So I've picked a game from 1997. It was the year that Grand Theft Auto, the original, was released.
Yeah, come on.
It has nothing to do with my
Oh god, I just set myself up for these, don't I? Really?
Yep.
Every week without fail.
The funniest part is I interrupted your stash to be like, no, just give him his credit.
You defended him.
I was like, give him credit because he's going to say a really good one this time. He's like, I'm not talking about Call of Duty. That's not what the stash is. It's just like, it's Need for Speed. Like, what the hell are you on about?
Anyway, sorry for that interruption, Barnaby. Give us your stash.
It was completely necessary, I'm afraid.
Oh yeah.
And Barney obviously thinks it was. That's why he's laughing so much.
Exactly. Comedy gold. But yeah. So yeah, I've gone for two themed games again. So both from British developers and both quite well known. So my stash game is one of the most memorable strategy games I've ever played, Dungeon Keeper, on PC. And I've played quite a few Bullfrog games, but Dungeon Keeper is the one that sticks out the most in my mind because it kind of takes the old cliche of a heroic party invading a dungeon and flips it on its head, in which you actually take control of the dungeon master and build rooms and fill them with monsters to try and defeat the heroes.
Had very good. I never played it, but I remember at the time it had very, very positive feedback.
Yes.
And a lot of people who played it rated it very highly.
Yes,
I
definitely.
played and I loved Dungeon Keeper back in the day.
Good. Yeah, no, it is a classic game, and it's a little bit forgotten nowadays. It did receive a sequel a few years later, Dungeon Keeper 2. Unfortunately, Dungeon Keeper 3 was cancelled. And I think there are a few games which have taken inspiration from it, released in the interim. But for me, the original is still the best. The only downside really was it's a bit short. It had 20 missions in the original game, 10 in the expansion Deeper Dungeons. But that was over far too quickly. But I replayed it several times, and it's just all throughout the game. It's just like quality. So it's got quality, sort of like these kind of like dark, atmospheric graphics. The sound was excellent, very high quality stereo sound. So you could almost like tell whenever something was off screen because it almost had like a surround sound quality, even though I was just running it on a 2-speaker setup. The quality of the sound was just amazing. The UI as well, the user interface was fantastic. One of the best I've ever seen in a management or strategy game. And again, it's a shame that more developers don't copy it because it just had everything you needed. It's presented simply, and you could see exactly what was happening. So the notifications, had a really nice, sort of clean, easy to use notification system. Nice. And it's just like a fun game. It didn't take itself too seriously. Yeah, it had kind of like a satirical edge to it, which I quite liked as well. Like quite a few of the Bullfrog games. And it's just one of my favourite strategy games and a good quality game all around. So yeah, definitely one to stash. I think it is available if you want the modern patched version. You can get it from GOG.com. And I think somebody's actually been working on a free-to-play version of Dungeon Keeper 2 as well, called Open Keeper. But I'm not sure if that's still a live project or not.
Oh, very interesting. Something different there. Thank you very much, Barnaby, for your stash. Sam, we'll come to you. Can we take your stash, please?
You certainly can. So, a few podcasts ago, I mentioned a game which came out in 2005 called Resident Evil 4.
Come on.
Which was actually one of my stashes. I can't remember the episode, but yeah, it was a good game. But yeah, like as with both, with yourself, Andy, and Barney, it's got absolutely nothing to do with.
Yeah. I know it was coming.
So I decided to go with Need for Speed, Most Wanted as my stash.
Okay.
Now this is
cracking game.
The original Most Wanted came out in 2005, not the remake from 2012, which wasn't that didn't really do anything for me. But yeah, the one from 2005 was, in my opinion, the best Need for Speed that's been made to date. Obviously, that can be argued between, I'm sure, quite a few people. But for me, don't get me wrong, I really liked Underground 1 and Underground 2. They were both awesome games as well.
Yeah.
But Most Wanted, I don't know what it was, whether it was the M3 on the front of the box or just the whole, working your way up through the blacklist,
I absolutely loved Need for Speed Most Wanted. I got it alongside when I purchased the 360.
Yeah. So
I had that in King Kong, and both of them got like platinum.
Yeah, I had that as well. Funny enough,
It wasn't a bad game either, to be fair.
No,
But yeah, Most Wanted was amazing. Love that game.
yeah, it was so good. I think it was like the whole. You start off, you have the cool car, like the mega car, and you race, but you lose the car, and that's kind of how the game unfolds. Because then you have to go back to the bottom of the what they called it, the blacklist. It's basically like the top 15 racers in the game, or in in the area, or whatever you want to call it, street racers that were like, they were kind of the guys to you wanted to get on this blacklist. It's a bit like a competitive ladder, you wanted to be on there, and you basically got your car taken off you because you were cheated out of it, really, by the guy who's on the top of the blacklist, and you'd have to go through it and play it. And obviously for those who haven't played it, that is, you just go through the blacklist and work your way up. But along the way there was just like, it's just a really good game. Like, graphically it was amazing at the time because it was obviously on 360. It was one of their earlier games, so it felt really sort of next gen for what it was. Customization was really good. The world was really good. You could get, you get caught by the police. You'd have to do speed chases, which were really, really cool. It was just a really good game. Like, there wasn't really anything, you couldn't really fault it, to be fair. There was nothing that, negative to say about it. And just all round, it was just a solid game. So
nice.
For people who've played, obviously, Need for Speed, I'm sure most people would have played at least one. If you haven't had a chance to play it or even check it out, then by all means have a look on YouTube, have a look at some vids. I don't know how well it would hold up now in today's sort of standards, but I'd imagine it probably doesn't look too bad. But that's going in the stash, which, Most Wanted.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I mean, I had that for the PS2, I believe. Did it come out for the PS2? I think it did.
I think it came out, and then it went on to the next gen after that. Because I'm sure I had it on the GameCube as well, I think. And I think I remember getting it on the 3... I definitely had it on the 360. But I'm sure I had it on the GameCube.
Let's have a look. No, PlayStation 2.
Yeah, no, I did have it on the GameCube.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, definitely had it on the GameCube.
1 minute, let's have a look.
PlayStation 2, Xbox, GameCube, GameCube, fucking hell.
GameCube.
That's a completely different system. GameCube.
Yeah.
DS, Windows, Game Boy Advance, and 360.
Released on everything.
Yeah, I had it on the GameCube, and then I remember getting it, and then getting it, on.
No,
the
360. that's the Chinese knockoff.
But
Wish.com.
That was part of Luigi's
5.99
gaming lounge in the dark moment.
It's
one of the games we play.
No, solid stash for me, I think that is. Thank you very much for that. So we'll move on to our trashes. So I'll start this off. So my trash of the week is a little title called Black Site Area 51. Did any of you guys play that?
Heard of it, not played it.
Not played it.
Yeah, so it released on the Xbox 360, PS3, and PC. So you can imagine what it's about, being called Black Site Area 51. Initially, what's it about? Aliens. So initially,
what year was it released?
Shut up. Initially, the gameplay...
That was also 2007.
It was.
It's the same year that Modern Warfare came out.
Absolutely nothing to do with Modern Warfare, but yeah. The gameplay itself, it was okay, but the game was just fugly. It was just, I don't know, something didn't feel right about the game. And if I'm not wrong, let me just have a quick look. I'm sure it wasn't given that great.
The year 2007 was an interesting year for sure.
I mean, I don't know if it was well received, but for me, it was a game that just, it didn't hold me interest at all. And I know that's hard to do anyway, because, I'm a game whore. But, Yeah, no, just don't play it. So, anyway, we'll move on because I haven't got much else to say on that game. Just don't play it.
I feel like I never played it. I didn't buy it, but it's going in my trash.
What are you on about?
I don't know. I've just put it out like a situation that you would have come out with, maybe.
Oh.
The only reason we're going in on you about this Call of Duty thing is because you actually started talking about Call of Duty as if it was gonna definitely be in the stash, and then you just started telling everyone about it. Like, yeah, it was a really good game. Like,
anyway, moving on. Tony, can you throw us your trash, please?
Yeah, mate. So this takes me back a little bit. It actually comes from the films series of Blade.
Okay.
If you remember Blade with Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
Remember it well.
Yeah, used to love the martial arts. Favorite film for martial arts even to this day. Even the first and Trinity and so on and so forth. And yeah, brilliant films. I think. For me, I played the game it was on PS1. It came out in the late 90s, and this is where you used to be able to go to Blockbuster, copy the games, get your stepdad to copy the games on his PC, and then take them back the following day. And I think I built up the big expectation of this because I was so drawn and so sort of loved by the whole sort of Blade franchise. I was like, right, this is gonna be amazing. I was really let down. It was really blocky, slow. You try and replay a certain mission and you sort of learn about the characters' sort of reactions. And I tried to preempt a strike and then you'd still get killed. You try and do it a little bit faster. You do it, kill, you delay it. And it was a really poor game. So for me, on that, there's not much to talk about. It was really dark when he's meant to be, the Daywalker. It was just a really, really poor game. I felt like it was just rushed whilst there was a big hype during the block with the films being out.
As is usually the case.
It was just really poor. Yeah, really crap.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know if you guys have played it or if you've seen anything.
I think I deliberately avoided it. I remember seeing reviews of it and they came out pretty poorly. So yeah, I avoided that one.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see him. And make a new game. I wouldn't say remaster, but it was really poorly done, and it was.
No, I think Blade is one of those characters which is like really good source material for a video game. So yeah. I think that is one that I'd like to see a good quality remake of as well.
Yeah, agreed. Well, thank you very much, Tony, for your trash. Andy, fire. Give us your trash.
Trash. Now, this is a bit... I don't know whether people will agree with why it's a trash. So back in the late 90s, this is genuine, I'm not actually taking you on a tour to like fuck around with this
Okay,
stuff.
alright.
So,
Late 90s.
Mid to late 90s, I was very much a PC gamer, all about the PC. And for my sins, obviously, in the 90s, let's be honest, the gaming industry was glorifying violence. We had the games like Grand Theft Auto, Postal, etc. So killing people and mowing them down and whatever. Kids loved it. I was a teenager at that point.
More murder porn.
Exactly, murder porn. So, Carmageddon 2. Spent hours playing Carmageddon 2 on the PC, trying to get air, running over pedestrians. I loved that game. Don't ask me why. It's probably not an amazing game, but I remember spending hours on it. Circa the same time, N64 came out, picked up the console. It was the best thing since sliced bread. Amazing system. And after a year or so, they released Carmageddon on the N64. And I was like, oh, wicked. My two worlds are aligning. This is going to be amazing. And Carmageddon 64 was one of the biggest piles of shit I've ever played. I don't know whether anyone else has had the displeasure.
No, again, the reviews came out terrible, so I avoided it.
Foolishly.
It's funny you say this, Andy. I was actually going to pick this.
Were you really?
Yeah. Honestly, I thought Worms and Worms 2 brilliant. Then Armageddon. Honestly, Armageddon 2 I thought is absolutely pants. So yeah, roll with it. But yeah,
not Armageddon, Carmageddon.
not
Car.
worms.
Armageddon,
Worms?
drive it. No, no.
Oh right, I'm
Arm-
looking at worms, mate. That's
No,
what that's what I was going to pick.
Armageddon.
I've never
on
But
IG,
obviously- so for Tony and the listeners not aware, Carmageddon is literally you run down pedestrians, you score points for killing people, and that's basically the game. So it's a point scoring game, a target based game. You run people over. They released a
Wreckfest, didn't they?
you are.
Breakfast.
Yeah, Wreckfest. It's on the Game Pass. It's a sort of derby game. We've played it before, but honest to God, they introduced Carmageddon onto one of the seasons. I think it might have been season 6 they had on there. Onto onto Wreckfest. It makes so much sense now.
Did they?
Yeah, there's the pieces. So yeah, they did a port across to the N64. The biggest peeve was one they replaced the human pedestrians with zombies. It's like, I want to see fucking blood. I want to mow these motherfuckers down. And they basically softened my murder porn, Barney. Can you believe it?
Yeah, I can believe it. It's Nintendo.
Exactly, it's Nintendo. I don't quote me on this, but I do remember at some point, I don't know where the fuck I read this, but I think like the German release or there was another European release, they actually replaced the people with dinosaurs. Now, if I remember correctly, that would have been amazing to play that version, but still not as good as humans. So that was one of the biggest gripes. They really softened it down, and it's like trying to soften down GTA. It's just not going to work. But that softening aside, just the physics, the gameplay, the controls, the graphics, it was fucking shocking. And I really, N64 games, let's be honest, they weren't the cheapest. And I think I brought that near-ish to release. Yes, I used to get gaming mags. No, I didn't read the reviews beforehand. I was hoping that it was going to be bring me as much joy as a PC version. But that's one of the games that I think, fucking hell, I dropped that amount of money, whatever it was, and it was shit. And yes, it got traded in, but obviously you take a hit on your trading value. But when you're a teenager and you're not, you not got money coming out your ears, it's like, fuck. Yeah, where's my return on my investment? I feel robbed. So yeah, Carmageddon 64, avoid it. Carmageddon 2, Carmageddon on the PC. If you haven't played it, might be worthwhile giving it a whirl, just so you know what we're sort of on about. But I did pick up a later car. They released a Carmageddon on the PS4, in 2015, 2016, something like that. I tried playing it, but it didn't have the same magic. So I do think maybe Carmageddon was aimed at that murder porn generation of those prepubescent teenagers when I think
it was a big thing late 90s, early 2000s. I think
it
there was some kind
was,
of revival in that genre, both in films and games, and it kind of ironically died down a bit after that.
Did any of you guys play a game called Postal on the PC?
No, it was too. I saw it. I was kind of tempted, but it just seemed very cheap.
It was like the same sort of top-down view as GTA, but effectively you're a guy who goes off the rails. Nowadays you'd call it mental health issues, depression.
I thought it was an FPS, or was that the sequel?
I'm not sure. The one I played was like a top-down. I don't know. Is it isometric? Where it's at a slight angle top-down, like old Fallout style sort of thing.
Postal 2 is definitely an FPS.
This definitely wasn't an FPS.
Yeah, might have been. Yeah, the original was.
Yeah, and again, you're just going around murder and maiming people.
Yeah, but I think it was like an area of expression. So I think it's something that maybe game developers needed to get out of their system. And it is good to experiment with genres, even if they can be distasteful. But it didn't really appeal to me that greatly. But I think it is a valid means of expression.
Yeah. Well,
just side note as well, because I'm on Mr. Wikipedia mode at the moment. Carmageddon was inspired by the film Death Race 2000, which starred David Carradine and a young Sylvester Stallone.
Jesus Christ! Can we test Barney? Get him in the mastermind chair. Specialist subject: anything.
Yeah.
Just video games related.
Just video games related. Yeah.
You're just reeling off the cast of Death Race 2000.
Oh well, I watched it
You
a couple of
quoted a
times.
young Sylvester Stallone, for fuck's sake.
Well, Andy, going back to your trash of Carmageddon 64, I'm not surprised. It seems to only have a 1.3 out of 10 on IGN.
At least I'm not alone.
What did it have?
A 1.3 out of 10.
Oh my god, that's one of the lowest scores I think I've ever seen.
Nice.
That's money back score.
But it was supposed to be a port of Carmageddon 2. And Carmageddon 2 on the PC, yeah, it wasn't everyone's cup of tea. But as far as I'm aware, it was quite well received. I had loads of fun on it. It played really well. It was a decent enough game. It's supposed to be a port, and that's what sold it to me.
I think the problem is that the N64 was both blessed and cursed, with both really great games and also really terrible games.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you very much for your trash, Andy. So we'll go over to you, Barnaby, if we can have your trash, please.
Yeah, sure, yes. So this game is also from another British developer. And it's actually quite well known because Team 17 pretty much only do this game and hardly anything else. It's any of the Worms series, because I just find that for all its popularity and all its promise, it never delivers on its promise. And what you actually get is a rather slow and clunky game, even though it seems like it's going to be a really fun game. It's kind of like a turn. If you've not played it before, it's kind of like a turn-based side-on 2D strategy game where you can control a team of 4 worms with an arsenal of weapons against several other teams of worms. And you got the kind of like combination of serious and comedy weapons. So you have machine guns and dynamite, but you also have things like a baseball bat and bouncing sheep. But my main issue with it was that the gameplay, as I said, is rather slow. And although all of the items that you get are quite fun, they're too limited to be really exciting. And just generally, I find it a clunky and not very user-friendly game.
Yeah.
So it never really lives up to its promise. And I'm sure there are worse games out there, but this has a lot of potential, which it never really exploited. So for that reason, I'm going to stick Worms in the trash.
Fair enough.
The entire series of Worms as well.
Well, yeah, whichever one. I mean, you could pick like one of the early PS1 or
the first ever
PC
Worms
games
on PC was actually pretty good at the time it came out.
I think it was actually released on Amiga first of all.
Oh, sorry. Okay, well, the first ever PC version the first version I was aware of that was out on the PC. I actually thought it was quite good on the PC.
Yeah.
Worms Armageddon was fucking amazing on the PC.
Barnapedia came out again.
It was okay. They're all kind of okay, but they just don't fulfill on their promise. That they've got potential, but they just don't use it. Poor UI, poor controls, and gameplay's too slow. Also, inventory is too limited. I think if you had more freedom to use whatever weapons you want, rather than relying on buying or picking up items, it would be a better game. But they decided to go the other way, so it ended up being a worse game, I'm afraid.
Fair enough.
To be fair, as time's gone on, I've stopped liking them as time's gone on, but I did used to like them back in the day.
Yeah, I think they haven't aged well, and despite all of their graphical updates, it's one of those series where the gameplay hasn't really been refined. So playing the PS1 versions and playing the latest version on Xbox, you're getting exactly the same experience.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, thank you for your trash, Barnaby. Sam, we'll come to you next. Can we have your trash, please?
Yeah. So my trash is a fighting game. It originally came out on the Super Nintendo. It's called Killer Instinct. And the first game on the SNES, I actually thought was an amazing game. I love that game. I have really good memories of playing it.
I put a lot of hours into that.
Yeah, I put some serious hours into that. Actually beat the game on the hardest mode from memory, which took me a long time because it was ridiculously hard if you put it on the hardest mode. But
It is.
it was just at the time it was just a solid game. The gameplay was way faster than any other fighting game at the time. The combinations that you could do on it were just absolutely OP, but that's kind of what made it cool. And you could do death moves like you could on Mortal Kombat. You know, they had all that kind of stuff in it. But it also had a thing called an ultra combo, which basically consisted of you doing like a ridiculous combination of kicks, punches, or depending on which character you were, you could use different abilities, whether it be a sword or whatever. And these combos would sort of rack up to like 40, 50 hit combinations.
Yeah, they were stupid.
Yeah, they were crazy. And it was brilliant on the SNES. It came out on the Nintendo 64 as Killer Instinct Gold, and not as good as the SNES one, but still was kind of okay. Like, you know, I don't think it got the best feedback on the Nintendo 64, and I can kind of see why, because the SNES one set a really high barrier for like that game. So like when the N64 one came out, it graphically wasn't really a leap forward, and it just wasn't as polished as the SNES version. So I think that's why people just didn't really think it was, that good of a game. Although I still thought it was good. But anyway, the actual trash that I'm going for is Killer Instinct, that came out on the Xbox One in 2013. I don't know if anyone's ever played it, but they remade it, and when they announced it, I was like pretty hyped for it. I was like, yeah, this is going to be awesome. They're remaking Killer Instinct, it's going to be great, blah, blah, blah. It was developed by Rare, because Rare originally developed the original ones, but it was also developed by some other people as well, Xbox Game Studios, and there was some other people involved with it. I don't really know who they are, to be fair, but basically the Rare that you know of today is just not even close to the Rare we knew of back in the 90s. It's just
way past their heyday.
Yeah, like massively past it. So, and I wasn't expecting it to be obviously as good, but I was expecting it to be kind of close, or and it just wasn't at all.
Well, you had that expectation because you would, wouldn't you, if you enjoyed a game previously?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, and obviously when we're talking like 10, probably a 15-year gap here between the last Killer Instinct coming out and that one. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't even remember the release date on the N64, but I'd imagine it was probably 98, something like that. Might have even been before then. Might have even been earlier, like 97, 6. Yeah, there was a huge gap, like, in terms of the timeline. So anyway, so as you can imagine, it gets announced, and I'm thinking, sweet, like, Killer Instinct's coming out, it's going to be so good. And it just was nothing like the other ones. Like, they had the characters in, yeah, but it was slow, it was clunky, it just wasn't even anything like Killer Instinct was, like, if you know what I mean. It shouldn't have even been called Killer Instinct. It was just a complete remake of the game that just didn't keep any of its original roots, and it just they tried to put obviously like the combos in, and but it just wasn't the same. It just felt like a really horrible, clunky, slow fighting game.
Almost like a bad port.
Yeah, it was just clunky, slow, and it was just awful.
Which is like the last thing you want in a fighting game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's definitely got to go in the trash for me, because I actually did get that game, and I really was hoping it was going to be.
Just out of interest, who was your go-to character in the original?
Cinder.
Oh, yeah. I never really got on with Cinder that well. I'd usually play as Orchid most of the time.
Oh, yeah, Orchid was good. I did actually get really good with Spinal as well, but he took me ages to get good with, because he was really difficult to use. But
because he transforms into other characters, doesn't he, during his combos?
He can do, yeah, and he also collected the skulls. If you blocked like certain attacks, you get these little skulls. And they go around your body, and then you could actually.
He could launch skulls out of his shield, can't he?
Yeah, he could. Yeah. Yeah, he was awesome, and he could sort of teleport as well, like from left to right or whatever, depending, and you could dodge attacks by basically disappearing, like really, temporarily. Like, it was a really good character, but the whole game, like, all the characters all had their own abilities. There wasn't one character.
That last boss though was like a cheating bastard though.
Yeah, he was called Idol, wasn't he? And
yeah,
if you played
Idol was a club.
Yeah, he had two heads and a massive giant club, and every time he hit you, if you put it on the harder modes, every time he hit you, he'd always do this attack, which would send you.
And
like,
he'd always
flying up in the
combo
air.
break as well.
Yeah, he'd always combo break, and then
Cheating scumbag.
every time he combo braked, it would basically send you up in the air, and then as he sent you up in the air, he'd stamp his feet, and if he stamped his feet, it meant his health would regenerate if he was on a harder difficulty setting. So it was really hard to beat him. But there was a cheat, Barney. Did you know you could turn Cinder into him? There was a cheat.
Yes, yeah.
And I actually remember the cheat now, even to this day. But,
wow.
Yeah,
it's like your very own Konami code.
Yes, I remember the code. Like literally, if you gave me a
What
SNES,
is it? I've forgotten it.
So you hold right on the D-pad, and you press LR, and then Y, B, X, and A, and then it would turn.
So basically, all the buttons.
But you would have to do it in that order. So you'd have to hold right on the D-pad, go LR, Y, B, X, A. But you could only do it when.
I feel like I'm back on the consultation zone in Games
when
Master.
when you'd selected the characters, and it used to say, it'd basically load into the fight. There used to be that little screen in between. You'd have a picture of your character, and then it'd say the letters versus, and then it would have the picture of the other character. You could only do it when it was on that screen, and then if you did it quick enough, you'd have to do it pretty quick. Then if you'd put in that combination quick enough while he was Cinder, it used to say the name Idol. Like you could hear it say Idol, and then the game would load, and then you would be Idol. But he was really crap. Like he was. He had an incredibly limited moveset. Yeah, he did.
And his jump attacks were very limited as well. If I remember.
Yeah, and he was really annoying because if you just press up, he would like glide across the map because he'd try and jump, but it was like an auto jump that would like basically glide him across the screen. So you would think when you were fighting him, like, God, this guy's insanely good. Like, and then as soon as you actually get to fight,
he's only insanely good because the AI cheats.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So it's a great game if you've not played it. I actually,
I'd probably say that Killer Instinct is my number 2 fighting game on the SNES, just behind Street Fighter 2.
Yeah, Street Fighter 2 Turbo was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was. It was just. I think Street Fighter 2 just edged it out because I think the hits just felt a bit more solid.
It did feel a bit more solid.
Killer Instinct, they felt a bit more floaty and insubstantial.
Yes.
The hit detection.
It wasn't as fast as Killer Instinct, nowhere near. And I don't know
when you turn the speed all the way up.
Yeah, maybe. I actually probably preferred I felt like I got more satisfaction when I was doing combos on Killer Instinct than
I did put a lot of hours into Killer Instinct, a lot of hours. I actually played as Combo for quite a while as well. TJ
Combo, yeah, TJ Combo, yeah. And do you know what else I liked? I liked all the soundtracks as well. And then there was a
Did you get the CD soundtrack?
I was just about to say.
Yeah, I've still got that.
Yeah, I probably have that in the loft. So funny enough, when we got the SNES, we got the limited edition Killer Instinct SNES that came with Killer Cuts, and it was in the box. The Killer Instinct box.
Yeah, was that a black coloured one?
Yeah, black coloured box with Fulgor. It had Fulgor on the front, and then it came with the Killer Cuts CD, which came in the card sleeve. Yeah. And I remember getting it from Electronics Boutique in town in Queensgate, and I think it was about 125 quid at the time, which was weird because the console was 125, but all the games back then were like 60-70 quid each. It didn't make any sense. Like you get a whole console for 125, but then the games were like 60-70 pound a game. So, but anyway, great game. Originally on the SNES, but on the Xbox it was awful, so it's going in the trash.
Yeah, fair enough. Thank you very much for your trash. Yet again, we've had very varying different types of games this evening, putting our trash in our stash. If anybody out there listening would like to contact us here, you can do so by emailing us at luigisgaminglounge@gmail.com. That's luigisgaminglounge@gmail.com. Pop an email in, let us know what you enjoy about the podcast, let us know what your favourite game is, and we'll give you a shout out. But yeah, thank you very much, guys, for listening, and thank you guys for being here with me this evening. It's been great to have a full house again. It doesn't happen too often, but it's been great having you all on. So yeah, until next time, guys, that's episode 52 recorded. see you in episode 53. Bye, guys. Peace out. Bye.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.